evening from Swansea wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight news, and reviews on a daily basis. We are just under now, an hour away from tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, and I am so excited for it. John Cena, Cody, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? But before all of that happens, we are going to be answering your questions for Mailbag Monday. And of course, first I need to introduce today's panel. And I don't want to just, introduce them. I want to ask them one of our questions we've been submitted in the mail for their introduction. But of course, it is only an introduction, so it can't be too long. In fact, they can only reply in one word. But to put yet another twist onto it, they can't use the words yes or no. So first things first, this first question is from JMoney17, who is asking, should Rhea Ripley be added to Io Sky and Bianca Belair's WrestleMania match? In some circles, he is known as Mr. G. Here he's known as Mr. Coby Galenzoski. How are you today, Coby? And what is your one-word answer to that question?
Duh. That's the only thing I could come up with at this point, but of course it's a pleasure to be here on the WR Daily. It's always a pleasure. Of course, Ben, you're the man here, and it's a Mailbag Monday. What a better day to be here. And there's always a lot of questions in the wrestling community, and it's always a pleasure to answer them.
Absolutely. It is great to have you here. And it is also great to have Archie here. How are you, Archie? And your question is from @Jose99. To make Jay versus Gunther better, should Gunther roast kids with Yeet shirts and make them cry by making a crying face?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. That's a very kind of obscure way to turn the heat up for the rivalry, but I mean, it would definitely do it. Yeah, I'm doing well. I would say I'm doing all right. Obviously, my team Chelsea didn't do too well yesterday, but we're not here to. All right, we're not here to talk about their abysmal attack, and we're here to talk some wrestling, which I'm very excited about. We've got some interesting topics. It's a bit of a weird environment for me because it's the first time I've done the daily when it's actually light outside for me right now. But yeah, it's my first Mailbag Monday, so I'm excited to get into it and seeing what our fans what questions they have to ask us.
Absolutely, and we do have some good questions today. Let's kick it off with a question from Philippe is the greatest. And the question is, how would you feel if we got Dominik versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania? Now, this is very interesting because tonight on Raw, there is an Intercontinental Championship match between Bron Breakker and Finn Balor. And a lot of people presumed that that was going to be the direction they were going to go in for WrestleMania. But the fact that that's happening today has made a lot of people think perhaps we're going to get Dominik versus Finn Balor instead, and that would be a massive shock, but stranger things have happened. Coby, I'm going to pass this one to you first. Do you think this could happen?
I mean, the tough part is we have one of the most delusional men in Monday Night Raw history. We have Finn Balor, who hasn't won a match since beating Rey Mysterio. And he's acting like he's one of the top guys and one of the best guys in the locker room. Yeah, you are, but you haven't won a single match, and you have no argument to this title shot. This entire storyline is based around Dominik Mysterio being the better leader. Dominik's the reason this is happening. He's the guy who got him the title shot. I don't know where we're going, and I don't know if it's Dom's going to use this as a way to embarrass Balor and say, you lost, or are we just going to get a full-on beatdown? Are we going to get a new member of the Judgment Day either replacing Balor or helping Balor? I don't think we're putting the title on Finn Balor. And I do think this is a reason to continue to cause dissension, but I don't think it happens yet. I think if any turn happens, we're getting a turn on Finn Balor. We've seen Dominik Mysterio's ability, especially last year, to not only be a heel, but also continue to be a heel after turning heel. He did it against Rhea Ripley, and I think he can do it against Finn Balor regardless, and we can turn Finn face that way if that's the ultimate direction. Finn Balor is a guy that just truly needs a shot in the foot. He needs something to go make me interesting again. And argue, this is the weird thing is he's been in a very, very weird position since being in the Judgment Day. He's never really, he had like one main feud with Seth Rollins, but he's never really been the top guy. They were pushing Rhea, they were pushing Damian. Dom was having NXT title reigns. And we're just in this position where I don't want to say it hasn't benefited Finn Balor, but I'm at the point where I'm at, like, it is a historical low point for me in terms of interest in Finn Balor. And I think he needs a face run. He needs something to make him interesting.
I do agree with you, Coby. I mean, I don't really understand what they're doing right now with the Judgment Day, because I do agree with your point. It should be they turn on Finn, and then Finn is the face. He goes back to his old character that we all miss so much. But here is the issue. What they're teasing is like Finn Balor's going to turn on them or something. It's just so bizarre, and I can't get my head around it. What are your thoughts, Archie?
So this is a rivalry that I don't want to see at WrestleMania for first things first, because I'm not interested in it. It's the complete opposite. I think it's a rivalry that has the potential to be one of WWE's big post-Mania storylines. And I'm more in the boat of you guys that I hope it's Dom and the rest of Judgment Day turning on Finn, especially if they kind of put JD McDonough in with that beatdown, and say maybe JD doesn't have second thoughts about turning on Finn, and that's a bigger shock than maybe Dominik or any of the other members of Judgment Day to do so, because JD and Finn go way back. But this is a really interesting rivalry for me, and one that I hope that we do see quite soon, because on one side of the coin, we'll be able to see Dominik as the leader of Judgment Day that we know he has all the tools to be. And it's something that can help maybe catapult him into the upper mid card for WWE and make him a true contender, and maybe even a world title scene. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be annoyed to see Dominik win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think he can have a good run with that. And then on the other side of the coin, I think Finn turning face is something that's desperately needed for his character, like you guys said. I think this whole kind of heel run of when Finn first turned heel and joined the Judgment Day, I found it interesting because it's something fresh for him, but I'm not going to blame this entirely on him because it is the booking. He's been made to look kind of goofy as a heel. He's not been made to look strong. And I think the fans don't care about him right now. But it's also because I think they want to cheer him. They want to throw their arms up in the air again for him when they hear his music. They want to see that babyface Finn Balor back again. And I've always been a big fan of Finn. If the first time I watched Finn wrestling was in NXT, I know for a lot of people it was in when he was in Japan. But it didn't take him long for him to just get me mesmerized in him as a wrestler in the ring. With his aura, just him overall as a wrestler, and I want to see that from Finn again. I know that's somewhere inside him still, and I just want to see that come out again. And I think the Judgment Day turning on Finn and making it a numbers game kind of thing, I think that can really help with that. And there's maybe a potential to tie in AJ with this as well. Someone that's Finn's been kind of at odds with since pretty much his whole main roster run, and it's someone that he might have to turn to for help. I think there's a lot of potential with this rivalry, but the most interesting part for me is getting back that Finn Balor that that I've been a fan of for so long, and just make him interesting again, like you guys said.
Absolutely, I could not agree more. And I remember last year I kept saying it. I wanted the Judgment Day to basically become WWE's version of Bullet Club, where the leader would constantly rotate. So I would be on board with Dominik Mysterio becoming the leader of the faction. My only issue is this second iteration of it has absolutely sucked so far. Like, I mean, at this moment in time, I have no interest in seeing the faction. Quite frankly, I mean, I feel the same way that Clark felt about them this time last year when we were arguing if they were relevant or not. I think they absolutely suck right now. I mean, what do you think, Coby?
Do I sit there and say, see, that's the thing. It's weird because I'll sit there and say I'm entertained. I'm every backstage segment's funny. You got Carlito being Carlito. You have, and then you got, I mean, you have the fun enjoyment of Liv and Dom stuff. Like, there are fun elements that I will sit here and say, yeah, they're fine and enjoyable. But in terms of just threats or like, can they win a match? They can't win a single match.
It's true.
We saw 3 months of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley beating up a group of 4 people. And that's what makes this weird. That's the thing is I think the biggest thing is something needs to happen before JD returns, because that's kind of the next nugget. Is then you can kind of play the role of, well, it's Finn Balor trained him. Finn Balor is a big reason why JD's where he's at now. And you can sit there and play with that dynamic, but something has to happen before JD can return. And I think that's what needs to happen in this sense. It has to be Finn going face. I think that's the like, I don't think we get the title in this turn or anything like that. Cause I don't like, believably, Braun Breaker should spear him once and that should be it. Like,
you're not wrong.
I don't have a reason. I cannot sit here and believe Finn Balor can have a 5-minute match with Braun Breaker because the last person he's beaten was Mr. Booyaka Rey Mysterio. Like, I can't sit here and go, Finn Balor deserves the shot, and it's just weird. Like, yes,
you're right.
The thing is I didn't even see a promo last week of Braun Breaker going, yeah, I want Finn Balor to at least give me a reason.
I know what you mean.
Happening. All this is, oh yeah, Finn Balor was like, oh, I bet you got it for yourself. No, Dominik got you the title shot because you're gonna lose. And like, I don't know what is that the story that Dom is setting Finn up for failure?
For failure.
Finn's gonna have enough of it.
Because
keep in mind, Dominik got Finn the qualifier also. So, like, is that the story? Is Dom setting Finn up for failure, and then Finn's gonna just go, "Well, I'm done." Like,
it's so crazy.
I don't know.
I think the thing is with Finn Balor is I agree that he's been on a too long of a losing run, but he's also somebody that is probably established enough as a wrestler. If they actually talked about his history and talked about how established he is as a wrestler, he's someone that can take a losing run like this and you can turn it into a story, albeit they're not doing a very good job of it at the minute. But I can't remember who said it, but it was someone in Wrestling Republic, and I'm pretty sure it was you, Ben, when Judgment Day was the first iteration of Judgment Day. You know, I think you were talking about it when a lot of people were complaining about it. They said, when we look back, we're going to be missing this iteration of Judgment Day.
Yeah, I said
and I think, a lot of, I think that's what's happening right now, because I know a lot of people every week. People were complaining Judgment Day was in the main event scene with
main event.
And any combination of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Cody, Seth Rollins. But it was fun every single week. It was entertaining, and I was invested. And I just don't get that feeling from the Judgment Day anymore. And I think Dom taking on that moniker, being the leader, and maybe adding someone new in and having JD align with Finn and maybe AJ aligning with Finn as well, and them having to kind of take on this third iteration of the Judgment Day. That's the best way to go about it, I think. But yeah, I think they're kind of teasing a turn both ways, but I think it eventually will be Dom to turn. I think that's the right decision, but they need to do something quick. And I think after WrestleMania is the best time to do it, personally.
Absolutely. Honestly, I do also agree they need some new members too, because right now it's basically
But I
Finn
don't know
Balor
who.
and
I don't know who
Jobbers.
though. Yeah, but I don't know
I'd
who
say
though.
maybe Carmelo Hayes, honestly, just because he's done nothing on SmackDown. Maybe putting him in the Judgment Day for, a year could, at least make sure he's on screen every week doing something, especially if he booked them
Maybe.
better, right? Him in this version of the Judgment Day would suck. But I'm saying if they actually booked it better and dominant, then that perhaps could help his career. Or
Yeah, that's
even, to be
potential.
fair, Karrion Kross. I don't know if he'd fit, but I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't want it to be kind of Final Testament 2.0 with adding
Yeah.
Cross and Scarlet in. I think it's just kind of it overcrowds it a bit. I think one member needs to be added, and Finn and JD can leave the group and kind of take them on together. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. I think making it too crowded with Cross and Scarlet isn't the way to go. And he's doing great things on his own anyway, Cross. So why put him in this storyline?
Right.
Yeah, no, you are right on that one. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. I want to read out some of these comments real quick. D6 Warlord agrees, saying if Finn leaves, then JD leaves. I would be worried about JD long term if he leaves the Judgment Day, but hopefully I'm wrong on that one. I Make Beat says that he has a late entry for WrestleMania Heaven. Drowning Pool playing Tearaway live at WrestleMania 18. He was 12 and that got him into metal. Hell of a shout there. Hell of a shout indeed. Right, now, next topic is from at Brad.Mobsy, who is asking, should WWE bring back the Mixed Tag Team Challenge? I mean, this is a really interesting question. I'm going to be honest. Certain match types, you guys know me, I don't like, and mixed tag matches are one of them. And the reason being is I think it just kills the flow of the match. The fact that you can tag out, and then I don't mind it, like in Progress and other companies like that, when it's like basically the rules of a normal tag team match, right? But typically mixed tag team matches, I just can't get into them for some reason because they're tagging in and out, and then both people come in at the same time. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many stories you can tell of like hot tags and stuff until you're seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And that was personally my issue with a mixed match challenge back in the day. But Coby, what are your thoughts?
I think the weirdest thing is I think there is a place for this. And if I'm looking at it, and I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, if you look at the real life couples, there's a lot of real life couples that you could easily use in this scenario. But I think in terms of what the landscape was and what it did before, Mixed Match Challenge was a Facebook exclusive show for a bit. Before, I don't think season 2 was. I'm pretty sure season 1 was Facebook exclusive. And I'm sitting here and I'll go, well, we know there's a lot of things that they can do. We know Speed is exclusive. I think if there was ever a platform like a Facebook, like an Instagram, I guess that's all Meta together. If there's Twitch wanting to get a show in, if was it Kick? I think Kick's another streaming platform. If there were ever not stories, but if there was ever a platform that was interested in an exclusive show like that, or an exclusive kind of little series like this, we know Tubi has evolved, but there's several deals that exist and several potential platforms where if they wanted to do something like they did the first time, I think they could. I think it's a small thing that could provide a lot of fun if you get the right crowds and you get a hot crowd and you get the right pairings. It could just be a lot of fun. I don't think I think it has, if it were to return, it has to be exactly what Speed is. You can mention it. You can mention, oh, these two won Liv and Dom won the Mixed Match Challenge season 1 if you wanted to do it that way. But it has to be separate like Speed. You can mention it, but it should not be canon. The fact of the matter is Braun Breaker was IC champion and he was wrestling Speed. Or Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley have both done it. Not as tag champions, but they were both doing it as well. We have people from NXT doing it as well. Speed is its own entity, and that's what Mixed Match Challenge would have to be if it were to return. It's not something that I mean, what they did the second time, what they did wrong was, well, we made it. Oh, the winners of the mixed match challenge get number 30 in the Royal Rumble. That cannot return. The mixed match challenge can return if it's a completely detached thing from the main roster. It'd be fun, but I mean, I'm not clamoring for it, but I could see it potentially returning if they wanted to.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And I agree with DCX Warlord too, only if they make the matches intergender for me personally. But I don't think they're going to do that because I don't think their sponsors would be happy.
Yeah, they'd have issues.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult.
I think
actually the theme has to return too, because that was a banger.
That's true.
I think there is actually a lot of potential in a mixed match challenge return. And I think it can be linked to the product if they don't put guys like Bron Breakker, like champions on there. I think, but also they still make it competitive. Like if you do say Dominik and Liv, like you said, against someone like a team like Io Sky and Penta, it would be fine for Io or Liv to take the loss, or for Dom or Penta to take the loss, and it still can lead on to the on-screen product. So I don't think it needs to be its own entity like Speed, but if it did return. But I do agree with the number 30 thing, actually, because in the Royal Rumble, when you see the countdown happen and with the number 30, you do want to be kind of surprised with it, don't you? And
it was so bad. I will agree with you guys on that one. But next question. In fact, before we get into the next question, I need to remind all of you guys to download Etsy. Now, in case you guys don't know what Etsy is, basically it is a new platform which we have partnered with, and we're doing weekly streams on there. And basically what you can do is you guys can join the streams, you can comment along, but you can also put your hand up and then come in and ask a question, discuss something, argue with Clark about his takes on Cody, anything like that, right? So it's a lot more immersive. You can turn your camera on if you want. You can turn your mic on if you want. It's all up to you, right? Or you can just be in there and just comment along like on here. There's so many options, and it's just that it's not a podcast. It's more of an interactive experience where we're literally having a conversation all together, and it's not recorded as well, right? So it's completely all live. Very fun, and you can download the Etsy app and head to the upcoming stream section to see when the next stream is. There wasn't one this weekend, but I believe that it will be back next week. It's just all these time changes, they're a little bit confusing. But up next, we have a hot take submitted by @Didamon, who is saying, quote unquote, I'm going to say it, I don't care about John Cena going heel after 20 years and 2 WrestleManias versus The Rock. Slap in the face, all in capital letters. Archie, what's your immediate reaction to this one?
So I always love looking at the comments of our fans on Wrestling Republic, whether it's on Instagram or on the daily here, and everyone's allowed their own opinion, even if it's so drastically and incredibly wrong, like this opinion is here. I'm sorry, but this is a statement I've been waiting to say for a while, because I didn't want to sound reactionary, coming just off Elimination Chamber. But John Cena's heel turn is, in fact, the greatest heel turn of all time. It's, if you told me John Cena is on my personal Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. He's with Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and CM Punk, and he's at the forefront of those 4 in someone that was massive in helping me get into wrestling as a fan, as a regular watcher. And never in a million years, even as one of the biggest fans at Wrestling Republic, as I like to think, although I'm not as big a fan as Geordie, never in a million years did I think I would see WWE turn John Cena heel. Not even turn him heel, but turn him heel on his farewell tour, his last year in wrestling. It's an incredibly gutsy move. And that's what I love about it, because this is how we get the best stories in wrestling, is when wrestling promotions push the boat and be a bit more risky with their storytelling. We see safe rivalries and and they give us great matches. They give us great stories. But the best stories, in my opinion, is when wrestling promotions start to think, let's try something new. Let's try something that nobody expects. And this is exactly what this is. It's a gutsy move, but it's a great move, in my opinion. And one thing you know about John Cena is he doesn't dip his toe in the water with anything. He's going to give this heel run his absolute all. He's going to go all in. He's going to go all in from the gear, from the music. He said in an interview with Chris Van Vliet, I believe, not too long ago, that if he was going to turn heel, he was going to be the opposite of what everyone loves. He was going to start disrespecting people. He was going to start giving up more. He was going to start being unloyal. And look, to all the people that have said in the past, John Cena, he's too cringy, he's too cheesy. Be careful what you wish for, because all I'm saying is I'm excited for this heel run, but I'm also absolutely terrified for any babyface that he's in a feud with, because don't you think that, I'm being serious, expect John Cena to publicly bury your favorites on the mic, because we saw him bury Austin Theory and Solo Sikoa when he wasn't even at full throttle. This is a John Cena that is a serious John Cena. This is someone that he's taking no prisoners, and he's going to be giving young wrestlers like Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu, the ultimate sink or swim test. And if they swim, then great, they're a future star. But if they don't swim, they're going to sink, and he's going to make them sink as fast as he can. And I think people are sleeping on John Cena we've had debates about this in Wrestling Public in the past. When I say John Cena is one of the best when it comes to telling a story and in promo work in wrestling, and people shrug that off. I think this heel run is going to show people just how good John Cena is, and just how much they've been sleeping on, and I can't believe I'm saying sleeping on someone like John Cena, but just how much they've been sleeping on him. And look, for the people that have called him cringe and cheesy, don't be coming crying to John Cena when he starts publicly burying your favorites, because that is what's going to happen. And look, I love Cody, and I'm in his corner in this storyline, but I'm worried for him. I'm even worried for Cody. If we have a promo battle between him and Cena tonight, I don't really want to know what Cena's going to come up with for Cody. Even someone as good as Cody is in danger of being not buried, but being kind of publicly humiliated by Cena. And I think this is probably the best thing they could have done on the road to WrestleMania. And
I 100% do agree with you there, Archie. I mean, you mentioned the best ever, and I'll also agree with that so far. We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out, obviously, because maybe we'll look back on it and it was a disaster. But if it is as good as we are saying, I do actually think this is more of a shock than the Hogan one was, because like I've said, I think that if the internet wrestling community existed then, I think a lot of people would have been predicting that or Sting turning heel at that time, right? Because some people were predicting it. And also, it was so blatant Hogan needed something, whereas Cena didn't need anything. We do have a few comments here. I Make Beat says, I believe in heel Cena. Jesse Hyde predicts that Rock and Cena are going to form the Rock World Order. Not sure if I can see that one, but I agree with Ron that I cannot wait to see proper heel Cena merch. They've released some stuff already, but I'm sure
it's a bit basic sort of stuff they've released already, but the actual babyface merch that they're still releasing for some reason is better than the heel merch, I think.
I think they just want to milk the money for as long as they can during this European tour, and then 100%. Reset it all heading into the few weeks before Mania. But now time for the main question, because we do have a question submitted by @just.apart on Instagram, who is asking, how would you book Aleister Black's return in WWE? Now, I'm guessing this is taken into, this is essentially presuming that the video package we saw on SmackDown, that the Mysterious 4, is indeed relating to Aleister Black, and I hope it is. We know he's been removed from the AEW roster page, so hell, anything is possible. But Archie, if you had the pen, if you had the book, what would you do?
So Aleister Black is somebody that was one of my personal favorite characters in NXT Black and Gold. For him to return, I'd like a big build up to it, and I'd like it to be similar to Bray Wyatt's White Rabbit teasers that we got. I want to see some fan interaction, and kind of the White Rabbit teasers were quite a big thing on social media, and even for non-wrestling fans. I'd like to see something similar for Aleister Black. Maybe, obviously not exactly the same, but maybe they can do some QR codes, and when they scan them, you get taken to a page of the chapter of the Dark Father stuff that he was doing before, or just something like that. So I'd like a big build up to his return. And on his return, I think a lot of people are saying that he should go for LA Knight first. Personally, I think there's only one person he should go for first, and that's Carmelo Hayes. I think there's a perfect story here that you can slide Aleister Black right into. Carmelo Hayes, he's on a good run at the minute on SmackDown. He can go to Nick Aldis the week before WrestleMania SmackDown, and he can say, "Look, I'm on a great run. I'm on a great run of matches at the minute. I'm proving to you why I was your number one draft pick. So what more do I have to do to earn a shot at LA Knight's US championship?" And Nick Aldis can say, "You're right, but you're a valued member of this roster, but I've also made a new addition who's also another valued member of this roster. And if you can beat him next week, then I will not hesitate to give you a US title match." And that's when we do it, I think, is on WrestleMania SmackDown. Carmelo Hayes, he's facing a mystery opponent, and you kick off WrestleMania weekend with a bang, with the return of Aleister Black. And this is a return I've wanted to see in WWE ever since Triple H took the pen as head of creative, because Alice is somebody that has been, I think, overlooked a lot on the main roster. He's not really been given a chance to shine properly, and I didn't feel like, even though I was excited for when he went to AEW, I never really felt like he could really get into his groove in AEW. And if he goes to WWE, I think this is just the perfect fit for him, with the new production values in WWE. They can have a lot of fun with his character, with his entrance, and he can still go in the ring. So yeah, I'm excited for a potential return, and I think him going after Carmelo Hayes first would be the right thing to do straight off the bat. I don't think putting him in the US title match against LA Knight straight away is the right thing to do. I think putting him in against an opponent like Carmelo Hayes in a loss that won't really hurt Melo too much, because he's on a good run. I think that's the right way to go about Aleister Black's return. But if he does return to the company, I'm extremely excited for it.
That would be a hell of a match as well. Melo versus Black. I mean, it would be a complete and utter banger. I just had a thought, right? If Vince still had the pen, if this wasn't a Triple H era, I know exactly what would happen right now. What would happen is that Dominik would kick out Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day, and Aleister Black would be revealed as the new leader.
Probably.
That is the most Vince thing ever, and it'd be awful, but
yeah. It would be awful. I don't want to see Alice in any more groups or factions.
You'd have to cut Carlito. You'd
have to do that.
The entire storyline would have to be Aleister Black has to cut the fat out of the Judgment Day. Sorry, Carlito, you're entertaining, but you're not.
He'll blind him in the eye, take his apple. Right, Coby, what about you? How would you book this situation?
He'll use the stem.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta compose myself. But see, that's the thing. And I'm looking at it, and we've kind of sat here, and we're at a point where all titles in this company have almost had a defining reign. And I want to sit here and go with this. We have Cody we have two. The WWE Championship is, of course, our Roman Reigns Championship, and then our Cody Rhodes Championship reign. Both of those reigns are long, are healthy, are really good reigns. We've had Seth Rollins truly establish the importance of the World Heavyweight Championship, and he had a really good 10, 11 months with that belt that I'll look back on fondly. And even Damian Priest was a solid story for what they did. The IC, we all know, our modern day Mount Rushmore. If we look at the belt we have now with this current design, we think Ring General Gunther. We need someone with the U.S. title, and I think it has to be Aleister Black. If Aleister, and I know this is a weird thing to sit here and go, yeah, we just gave it back to LA Knight, and LA Knight deserves the ball to run with and to roll with. And I think that's the tough part. I don't know. Like, the weird thing is I don't know if Carmelo can suffer a loss, especially from someone returning. I don't think that'd be the move. I think the move is if you're going to have him return, the weird part is you have to have him return as a heel. He has to return as a heel. He has to go. If he's going after LA Knight, he's going after LA Knight. And my fear is he does get too over, because that's almost how he debuted in NXT. Is he was kind of a darker character, but he got so over to where he could have a high profile feud with someone like Adam Cole, and he could be the face in the feud. I think we have to have a similar trajectory. We need Aleister Black in a face run, or not in a face run. We need him in a heel run. He needs to get some dominance, because he needs to do something. He can't just return and do nothing. We've kind of seen that with Andrade over the last year. He had the entire series with Carmelo Hayes that really didn't do anything in the end, in the long game, because LA Knight ruined Game 7 and nothing happened after the 3-way, especially with the tease of the fact that there was still tension there. He needs to return and do something. And if it's not a world title reign, it's not a world title feud. I'm not saying Aleister Black versus Cody Rhodes is your next feud. If Cody Rhodes defeats Cena, or if he doesn't, I think you could go that route if you absolutely wanted. But if there's someone who could hypothetically take the ball and use it and help establish that U.S. title reign or U.S. championship, because we really haven't had someone from the Triple H regime that can sit here and say, yeah, they made the U.S. title relevant, other than LA Knight somewhat. I think it can be Aleister Black in this case.
I would
or
absolutely.
Malachi Black, whatever he's coming in as.
I'd love to see it. I truly would. I mean, to your point, I said the same thing on Allison Analysis this past Friday. Somebody needs to have a Gunther-like reign with that US title, and Aleister Black being that guy would be a fantastic call, Coby, no doubt about it. Got a few comments.
I mean, I don't know if it has to be a Gunther-esque reign. It just has to be a really good booked reign.
Yeah,
like that.
Even if it's only 9 months.
Even then, that's the thing. LA Knights was the LA Knight's first one was fine. He was defending it, but yes, he had no challengers. I think he had Santos 3 times. Because they need something. They need something. Like, we cannot have a repeat of what Shinsuke did, because he didn't show up. He was not on television. He was the only times he was on television, he was lurking in the shadows, and then he went, "Oh, no one's worthy for the title because I've been watching and nobody's worthy." It's like, okay, so what are you gonna do?
Absolutely,
I saw someone was trying to say, "Oh yeah, they're teasing a 6-way." No, Shinsuke Nakamura said nobody's worthy for the belt. worthy to face him. So
nobody faced him.
They're not setting up a 6-person match or whatever. Like, no, they weren't.
They need something. Title,
and if they really want to put the rocket to him, and Cody does lose to Cena, Cody and Aleister Black.
Well, this is where I want to read out this comment. I want to read out this comment, right? Because DCX Warlord said this a few minutes ago. Aleister Black returns and immediately goes after Andrade or Cody. Cody would be the same way that he debuted in AEW.
Andrade would be interesting, but
the funny part is that I think that would be the biggest. That'd be the biggest middle finger to AEW is, we're gonna do this feud and we're gonna do it right. Cody Rhodes just loses the world title in the main event of WrestleMania, and we're gonna do an Aleister Black and Cody feud. I'm down. I'm down.
And Aleister Black
if you
blinds
can
him.
book it, because I think they would do it right in this regime, I'd be down. It'd be comical. It'd be funny, but I think that'd be the other way. You're not just gonna give him the U.S. title run.
Will Ospreay will be going on an absolute rant on Twitter if they did that. I can't. I don't want to see that just because the amount of tribalism it will create.
I don't think
It would.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that for Cody, but I do agree that Aleister Black should be the one to bring more prestige to the US title. I just worry about LA Knight. If he loses the US title next, he really should be going into the main event scene and challenging for the world title. And I'm worried about him. I'm worried about him. If he loses this soon, I mean, does he win Money in the Bank? That's a potential avenue.
It is.
Yeah.
My question would be, and of course this is all dependent on WrestleMania. If John Cena beats Cody Rhodes, Cena and LA Knight's fun.
It is. That would be a fun.
Yeah. If Gunther retains, Gunther and LA Knight's fun.
Yeah,
like there's
absolutely.
I agree. He needs to do something. You can't just have him wallow in the bloodline feud like he did between title reigns.
And he can't stay in the mid card scene either. I'm
gonna be honest about it. I don't think the guy's a main eventer, and I don't think he's a lower mid carder. I think the guy's a good hand, and that doesn't mean he can't main event pay-per-views. I think he can. But I think he's a good hand, and he's just a good body to have.
He's still very popular. He's still selling a lot.
Few years left.
And we are in the position.
He legitimately does have a few years left. It's not even a joke.
He's got 5 years. He's got 5 years minimum.
Honestly,
he's got 5 years minimum.
You said Seth Rollins was going to retire in a couple of years the other day, and Seth Rollins is half a decade younger than him, and has had as long of a career.
I said 5 years, and what did he say? Yeah. He said he might be retiring at the end of his contract, which is in 5 or 6 years.
Okay, so this is the thing. We mentioned this months ago when Jey Uso won the Rumble. Is Jey Uso's at a point where he had the IC title for a cup of coffee, but he keeps losing, and that's what LA Knight needs. If LA Knight drops the US title, he needs to go on and do something, because why would the fans care? And that's the biggest thing. What you can't do is go, oh yeah, LA Knight's so over, but we don't have anything for him, so you can't ruin momentum.
I do agree with that, Kirby.
That's the thing.
I think we can do that.
Arguably, he doesn't, you keep saying he doesn't have much left. He does not have the wear other 40-year-old men have. I think he was 40 when we were having issues. He does not have the wear on his body. He's got it.
No, you are right, but I just don't think he's worth investing in massively. This is what I'm saying. Capitalize on the fact he's over. Capitalize on the fact he's over.
He's over.
But don't give him the ball for two. Give him an odd mid-card title like they have been. Literally, how Triple H has booked him is what I do. But always keep him on TV. Always keep him in feuds. But don't push him. You don't make him a world champion.
He deserves at least one world. He deserves at least one. No, I disagree.
I don't think he should ever. I don't think he should touch, or I don't think he should sniff a world championship. No,
he should be.
He should
be in the picture. He should be in the picture. I agree on B-level pay-per-view.
He deserves one world title win, at least one. And
so did 90% of people on that roster who aren't going to get it.
No, but 90% of those people you're talking about aren't as over and aren't as selling as much merchandise as LA Knight.
And they've also got about 15 more years in the industry left than him.
Exactly. That's why he should win it before them.
No, because then you can't make as much money off of him. This is the issue. They had this issue in the late 2000s where they had tons of main eventers old. And then what happened? It wasn't just bad creativity in the early 2010s. They had no stars other than a couple of names. And that's what screwed them for ages. You can't just push older talents. The industry has shown it over and over and over again.
No, you can't. But you got to push the right ones, and LA Knight's the right one. You know how much money they get from from LA Knight Money in the Bank briefcases, custom briefcases. They make a ton.
They've just done that with Jay. They're doing this with Jey Uso. Jey Uso's the
so they can
exception
do it
to
with
the
LA
rule.
Knight.
No, they chose one.
What do you
They
mean
chose
Jey-
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso's not an exception to a
I am
rule.
joking.
Come on.
I'm joking. I'm joking because everybody's saying that he's too old to become world champion, which is a joke because he has been with the company for so long and he's already a Hall of Famer.
Who?
And
Who's
he
literally
is even
saying Jey
more
Uso's
over.
too old?
What, Jey Uso?
Tons of people have been saying it, but I actually do disagree on that one.
I think he's younger than Gunther.
LA,
I think he is. I think he's 38. But
LA
people are
LA
saying
Knight-
that
he's
he's too old to
39.
be
He's
now
39.
being a main eventer.
No, he's-
If Jey
No,
Uso
Gunther's
deserves a world
36,
title win,
man.
LA Knight deserves a world title win as well. Is how I
One
think
of the
about
two.
it.
I'm not saying he doesn't
I-
deserve it. I'm
One
not
of the
saying
two,
that.
both of them can.
Yes,
I
you
never
are.
said he doesn't deserve it. I said I
You
don't think
are.
it's the right move.
You just said he shouldn't
Deserve-
sniff a world title.
Deserve? Yeah, he should have because he. But that's from a business standpoint, right? He deserves a world title. I just don't think he should get one. Two different things.
Nah.
Shard saying everyone is too old for him.
Yeah.
Do you know what, right? When Arsenal, we're now playing players at Arsenal who were like 5 years younger than me, and I'm like flipping heck.
Yeah,
I'm
let's-
getting old now
let's,
as well.
Let's
But
end, let's end the show there then while we're talking about football because
we can't. We'll go head to head with Raw, just arguing about LA Knight for an hour. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Archie. Thank you to Coby. We will see you guys same place, different time tomorrow. Back to our normal time in the UK. 8 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. The time zones will correct themselves in a few weeks, but for now, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific still. We will see you there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and shout out to you, I Make Beach. We really appreciate you watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye, bye, bye.